What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. I quickly wanted to cover one of the top questions that I get all the time, and it's my style of technical trading. So I tend to view patterns and I trade based off of that and less on fundamentals themselves. So I hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. My name's Ricky. I have over 85,000 members within my private TechBud Solutions community. That's the third link in the description. If you want to surround yourself for free with like-minded individuals, as well as we have a little bit over now 120,000 subscribers within our YouTube channel. So it's been growing exponentially. I just think it's because of the quality content that I've been able to share in my experience with the overall community. Last week I ended up over $4,000 profit. This week we're not off to a great start. Monday was okay. Tuesday, not a lot of movement. Didn't really trade today. I'm going to look forward to this upcoming week, and I'm going to talk to you guys about a pattern that I've been seeing. I want you guys to focus on the pattern and what it is that I see, and not the actual stock or ETF that I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and get straight to it. So, right? Let's go ahead and I'm going to lower my, let's see, boom, boom, boom. So there we go. I'm going to move over here. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. So this is my TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform for those that have never joined or watched any of my videos. It is a free platform that you are able to use. I'm not promoting TD Ameritrade. I'm not paid by them in any way. Feel free to check them out if you want to. Don't if you don't want to. Yeah, so let me go ahead and I'm going to talk about JNUG. So JNUG had a really great day, right? So there's no question about that. Ended up closing the day 5%, but I think it hit highs of about 8% growth based on where it closed at yesterday. But based on where it opened at and where it peaked out at, right, from $14.69 to the overall open of about $14, that's not bad, right? 5%, that's excellent. Now, something that you guys should know is that JNUG is in correlation to the /GC. That's the actual feature itself, and you can see that during aftermarket hours, right, because this is a feature, it's actually still trading, and it's actually moving up, right? If you guys see on where /GC peaked out, just take this into correlation that this is where JNUG hit highs of like 14.69, but then had to sell off and then ended up closing at around 14.16, so it ended up closing here. But then all of a sudden, aftermarket hours /GC pushed up to new highs of 13.42. So this would directly almost give you the understanding that, okay, well, if this pattern holds, JNUG is going to open up green. Everyone kept asking me today, what do I think that's going to happen with JNUG? Do I think that JNUG is going to go to the moon, right? Is it still going to continue trending up and stuff like that? Personally, I do not. And this is why I think it's going to have one or two more green days. And I'm going to share my thought process and the patterns that I see on why I do not believe that JNUG will continue to rise. First of all, the overall high that it has hit, so /GC, this is a 180-day analysis. And you can see with this pattern right here, the previous high that it has hit, right? High, resistance, resistance, as a sell-off, resistance, sell-off. It hit that resistance and then it had a sell-off. But one of the things that I'm noticing is that, do you guys see this pattern? This SMA indicator, right, with the length of 180. You can see that when the candles, right, when the pattern itself, the candles themselves are trading above this SMA indicator, right, it's building this cup, right, it's uplifting the candles and it's showing signs of this uptrend pattern. But once it starts to really consolidate and it starts to peak out, you can see that this SMA indicator starts to build a peak, and then it holds and cups the candles down, right? So it's showing signs of a descending pattern. So now ask yourself, it was showing signs of an ascending pattern, right? It was cupping this thing up. It was showing signs of an uptrend pattern. It hit its resistance. Now there's a lot of consolidation that's going on. So what's to happen next? Well, based on this, if you were to view this as in just pretend like this SMA were to continue to play out, how would you see this play out, right? How would you see this SMA? So if it's showing signs of an uptrend, starting to consolidate, starting to peak out, and then it's starting to descend, right? Now, if you can continue drawing that SMA indicator, if you could just continue to draw it, it would make sense on why this thing would start to move down, right? It would start to really cup the candles down. It's not going to be in a very aggressive push down, but just like it did last time, it was cupping them up when the candles were above this SMA indicator. It was showing signs of an uptrend. It consolidated. They broke below the SMA indicator, right? And then it started really cupping and acting as a resistance. Do you see this? Same thing as what I think is happening as of now. So great. I wrote out these lines. So if you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, you would have seen my screenshot that I shared. We were in the for our daily voice chat, and you would have seen that I drew this descending pattern. Right? It continues to make lower lows. So when it hit lows here of about 1307, and then it made lower lows of almost 1300, and the highs that it makes are continuously lower highs. Right? It's a descending pattern, and that's what I've been noticing. And also this SMA indicator, everything is kind of correlating to it being a little bit more on the overbought side. It's a little bit too peaked out, and it's showing signs that it's about time for this to actually start to reverse. Looking at this on the 1-year chart, you can look at it a little bit bigger. You can see that when it starts to push up, even this EMA indicator, right, really starts to push this down. And you can see there's a lot of consolidation that's happening right now. And the critical point that I'm looking for to get that full-on confirmation, this is just an idea, right? This is just a pattern that I see. Patterns don't mean anything until they're verified, right? And if I'm not mistaken, like right now, this thing should be pushing up. So it bounced off the bottom VWAP and it's showing signs of an uptrend pattern, but that's intraday. I'm focusing for a swing trade potential. And I'm going to tell you guys why in a couple minutes. But this descending pattern showing signs of a downtrend, this SMA indicator showing signs of a resistance, right? Do you see how it's acting as a resistance? The bodies of the candles are being held below this SMA indicator. But, during aftermarket hours, it did end up pushing like it's pushed before. But the whole thing is it going to hold above 1340? So 1340 was a previous support level, if I'm not mistaken. So we could see right here, we could see that it was a previous resistance level, right? It struggled to break above 1340. But then when it broke above 1340, it acted as a new support level. So that's what we're going to want to see. If it breaks above 1340, then great. It broke that descending pattern, and it's most likely going to be heading to 1350 to 1360, which is great if you're trading JNUG and NUGT, because those ETFs are directly influenced by /GC, right? They move up when this moves up. If you guys don't know that, you guys can click on Flexible Grid right here and click on /GC, and then look at JNUG. Right, they offer very similar patterns. Well, if you do the 180, right here, very similar patterns. It shows signs of a peak, descending pattern. But obviously, JNUG being a decaying ETF, it's not going to be an exact replica, right? So, what I wanted to talk about is why am I talking about this right now? Well, one of the things was first. It was great for for today, for people that were able to take advantage of JNUG, because they were able to see 5% plus growth. That's great. That's an amazing day trade. Now, think about this. Is this a day trade or a swing trade? Swing trade is when you hold and trade a stock. So you hold it, not just buy and sell all within one day, but you hold it for a number of days or a number of weeks because of the potential that it has to offer. Because a lot of this movement can happen during pre-market or after-market hours that not everyone has access to trading. So when looking at this right now, if this verifies that it cannot hold above 1340 and we start to see a descending pattern, then I can see /GC making new lows, breaking below the $1,300 support, and then leading to an overall sell-off, right? Just like it's done in the past. And if that happens, then that's when we're going to see JNUG, which is the inverse of UGAS, to start to recover, right? Start to show signs of an uptrend pattern. I'm sorry, JDST. Wow, that was really bad. So, and looking at JDST, do you guys see that this is showing more signs of an ascending uptrend pattern? Do you guys see that this thing is showing more signs of an upward staircase, almost this bull flag pattern? Do you see this resistance at $60? This bull flag pattern leading up to $60, and then we're going to get some consolidation, and then that's where we can get that break, right? Just like we did last time, right? We got that push up, great. We hit highs of 75. That's great. So this is why I'm talking about this. That's why it's so important to understand patterns. You can see that the SMA indicator here, it's building more of a cup formation, that it's going to uplift these stocks, right? It's going to show signs of an uptrend pattern. There's that bear flag pattern. There's the RSI indicating that it's more on the oversold side. But does this mean 100% that JDSC is going to go up? No. Or that it's going to reverse? No. This thing can go all the way down to $40 for all we know, right? It's a very good tool to understand patterns and these indicators and how to correlate them all together, because you'll have a better understanding yourself on when is it a good time to buy, when is it a good time to potentially buy. So once you visit the stock, do your analysis and see, hey, this is something that I want to keep on high alerts. I'll follow up with this one on a daily basis. I'm going to set my alerts and I'll revisit this when it continues to show signs of an ascending uptrend pattern. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, right? It's right now I had a sell-off. That's great. Obviously, I like buying the dips, but I don't just buy the dips without any indication of a reversal. So I think the smart way to do it, the way that I share within the Learn Plan Profit group and in my overall group, TechBud Solutions, is to wait for the confirmation and the reversal. So $55 being a previous support, I'm going to wait for it to break above $55. And by the time that it breaks above 55, even if I could end up selling from 55 to overall 60, right? That's about almost 9%. But again, opportunity cost. If /GC gets rejected and it breaks below 1300, then that means that JDST will most likely JDST will make new highs, so it could go to 65 or potentially 70. And that's when we're talking about 20 to almost 30% potential. So just ask yourself, if you have a $10,000 account, that's a $3,000 potential return. A $1,000 account, that's a $300 potential return. How many day trades was that? It wasn't a day trade. It was one trade that took some time, right? About maybe 1 week or 1 week and a half, depending on how long it takes to cover this margin. And that's why swing trading can be so effective when you understand patterns. So let me go ahead and close this out. I'm going to answer you guys' questions right now. So, all right, so we have a couple people talking about different stocks. Okay, so we have people talking about something a little bit different. So, but yeah, just really wanted to cover. I feel like patterns is something that not a lot of people understand. There's 3 things that I want to make sure that you focus on. One indicator that I focus on a lot that you could see is the 180-day EMA. I like to invest in stocks and ETFs that are trending above the candles themselves, the bodies of the candles, to be holding above the 180-day EMA. The second thing that I like to do and like to ensure is to look at the big picture. Not just looking at the pattern intraday, and if it has a green day, thinking that it's going to go to the moon, but taking a step back and really looking at the big charts, the 180-day 4-hour charts, the 1-year chart, right? Regardless of what it is that you have to see, taking a step back, seeing the overall patterns, and knowing, like previous patterns that have led to their success, if it's showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern, if it's showing signs of a descending pattern, these patterns reflect most likely what, if you invest in these companies or in these ETFs, they'll most likely reflect how your account will grow. And the last thing that I want to make sure that you guys understand is understanding where the support and resistance levels are. I know it's not super important, because although you're like, okay, well, there's a support here, there's a resistance here, waiting for the confirmation and waiting for the break above the EMA, that's great. But also when the stock is actively trending up, you have to have an understanding on where's a potential peak point, and making sure that you understand that so you're prepared to cover profits at the highs, and when it sells off and then it bounces again on the EMA, then you can buy the dips. And that's what makes an effective swing trader, makes an effective trader altogether. When you understand everything that's going on, you understand the pattern, you understand what you're investing in, and you understand the risk involved. So, okay, so what's the difference? So Donna is asking, Ricky, can you explain what's the difference from a bull flag and bear flag pattern? Well, bull means something that's going up. So that's like a term that the people use that's just a very common term that people throw around within the stock market. So when something is showing signs of a bull flag pattern, that's going to be more along the lines of what you saw with JDST. So JDST would, I don't know if you could see it right here. Let's see. So if you could see this, that let's say you could see no other lines other than the resistance line at $60 and this ascending uptrend line. Do you see how there's this upward staircase? It continues to make the lows that it makes when it has sell-offs are higher lows than the previous one, right? So it makes higher lows than this one, and then higher lows than this one, and it continues to consolidate and struggle to hold above $60. That's a bull flag pattern. The reversal would be so looking at JNUG, you can see that this is more of a descending pattern with the overall support at about $13 to $12.50. Do you see this? So it continues to push up, but it can't make new highs and pulls back down. Push up, pulls back, consolidates. That's a bear flag pattern. So yeah, good question. Appreciate it. So all right. So we have Manuel saying, Ricky, I wish I could afford your class. I have learned so much from Learn Plan Profit. Appreciate that. So, I mean, if you're part of my free groups of Technical Solutions where we have over 85,000 members, direct message me via Discord. I'd like to talk to you to see if there's anything that we can do that can work for you. So I'd love to assist if there's any way that I can. So Ricky, what is the minimum volume that you look at before you take a position? So CIG, yeah, so CIG has pretty low volume. It's not necessarily the lowest, like volume is important, right? Demand is very important. I like to focus and make sure that whatever it is that I'm investing in is actively showing signs of an uptrend. There's a stock that can, offer very little volume. So the stock itself, like UAN, if you look at ticker symbol UAN and look at in the past 2 weeks, there's a moment where it was consolidating for about 2 to 3 days at around 340 to 350, if I'm not mistaken. But when it broke that resistance above 350, it broke that resistance and it started showing signs of an uptrend. And then within that time, it covered about 5 to 10%, if I'm not mistaken, within 1 or 2 days. So again, it's not about the volume didn't really increase much more, but it was showing signs of an uptrend. Like there's confirmation that the price action was there. It was actually moving up. So I'd focus more on that, especially if your account size isn't that big. So it's very good to understand the volume and that the demand is there, but it's more important to understand the overall pattern and making sure that you're investing in something that is actively trending up rather than just consolidating. And it comes down to opportunity cost. If you have your money invested in something and it's not actually moving up, then it'd be better just to have it invested in something that's slowly moving up, but at least is showing signs of an ascending uptrend. So we got B1G Luke saying LPP is definitely worth the money. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Let's see. So it says Jack Tackett is saying, Ricky, would you say that using these techniques to swing trade options would be a good idea? Have you ever traded options? So I've never traded options, but I can tell you that when I did make a transition to slowly trade some cryptocurrencies, technical trading I think can be very universal. And there's obviously different indicators and different catalysts in different markets, right? But I can tell you that my style, we have people within our Learn Plan Profit course that because they find my approach of technical trading to be so effective, they use it for Forex as well. I've gotten a good number of people that because of what they've learned within Learn Plan Profit, they've been able to use that technical style of trading and correlate over to the market of Forex. So I'm pretty sure that it could be pretty universal. Just make sure that you understand the different indicators and catalysts that could influence, when you're trading options or whatever market it is that you are trading. So Laura, what's going on? So you are up 20% on UGAS. Happy to hear that. Thank you. Thank you. That's amazing. But yeah, that's really just it. So just wanted to make this video. This actually ended up being a little bit longer than I expected. I really hope that you guys all have a better understanding of kind of like the patterns that I look for, how to truly understand, right? Just do yourself one favor. Don't stay very macro focused, stay very micro focused. You okay there? What? Yeah, you just look, I don't know, you look, that was funny. You're reading? Okay. But yeah, stay very micro focused. So make sure that you are that you understand like what it is every single week. There's so many stocks that are being thrown around. Make sure. So this is something that we do within our Learn Plan Profit private group. Every week I ask every single member to just call out 1 or 2 stocks, 1 or 2 stocks for the entire week. Stay very micro focused. Forget what everyone else is saying. Plan out your trade for 1 or 2 stocks that's going to get you to your weekly percentage growth goal. So if that's 5 or 10%, then make sure that those stocks offer that margin of profit. And that's what we do. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Harley already, he's one of the channels that you guys can subscribe to. We call him Robinhood Harley. And he showcases different best practices when it comes down to investing in the stock market. He covers patterns that are a lot more consistent and less risky, right? So I think for people that use Robinhood, could really benefit from his content as well. And yeah, so I want to thank you guys for everything that you guys do. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success, and make sure that you understand what you're investing in. Make sure that you understand the risk involved, and that you understand that if the pattern is showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern or a descending pattern. If it's showing signs of a descending pattern, it can still be profitable if you know how to scalp it. But if you don't, then you might want to take a step back and re-ask yourself. Is this something that I really need to invest in? What are people roasting me?
No. This is a barely upload. Yeah, trying to catch fire, bro.
Yeah, so thank you guys again so much for watching. If you guys want to look, he barely uploads. I see him. What's going on, Edwin? feel free to click that first link in the description. If you guys have a minute, just literally like 60 seconds, click that first link in the description and see how it is that, you could potentially, if you see value in my private group, if you see value in our private group altogether and everything that we have to offer. So I speak to this group on a daily basis. So if you find the way that I instruct and that I showcase what it is that I do, then I'd love to have you as a part of the team. So again, just 60 seconds. Feel free to click that link. And if you have any feedback that you would like to give me, I'm all open for it. So again, we do have our free group, so TechBot Solutions. That's the third link in the description. I got in all late. So today was a dollar type of day. I'm guessing you either traded UGAS or you either traded JNUG or something like that. So thank you guys again. I hope you guys all have an amazing Tuesday. Yeah, that is really just it. So take it easy, team. We'll see you guys tomorrow.